Hey, it's Chris here. Welcome to lesson 4. Now, this is a monumental point in your learning journey because you're going to be starting your first app. And what we're going to be building is this work hard game. I chose a game because it's more fun for students to learn. And it's also going to provide just enough challenge for you to feel a sense of accomplishment, as well as teach you a couple of new tricks. Furthermore, if you have a physical iPhone or device, you can actually, by the end of the series, install this app onto the device and you can take it around and you can show your friends and family what you built. So that's pretty cool as well. Oh, and in case you missed the previous lessons, you can check them out right over here. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so here's what we're going to be building. Basically the war card game. When you hit deal, the cards get randomized and whoever wins, they get a point. So in this lesson, we're going to focus on the user interface. As you can see here, we've got a logo image, we've got card images that change, we've got a button that you can tap that is also an image, we've got some text labels down here, and we've got a green background, which is actually an image as well. Let's dive in and start this Xcode project. All right, so I've got Xcode open. We're going to create a new Xcode project. Again, you can always go to File, New, and choose Project. We are going to create an iOS app here. So let's choose iOS and choose app. Even though this is technically a game, this is a different framework for building other types of games. This is more of an app that functions as a game. We're going to choose app. For the product, make sure you name it something you like because we are going to continue building on this Xcode project over the next few lessons. So let's go ahead and say war card game and remember where you're going to save this. Nothing else changes. Make sure interface is SwiftUI, language is Swift. Testing and storage can both be none. Team can also be none as well. We're going to save it. I'm going to save it in day 4 of this series. If you want to download this project, you can go ahead, check below in the description. There's a link to do so. In this source control area, make sure this is unchecked. We don't need to use this right now. Click on create and we have our Xcode project. Now the first thing we're going to do is to add all of the image assets that we're going to need. So again, I have a link below where you can download these image assets. It's going to be a zip file. I'll show you what it looks like. So it's going to look something like this. You're just going to double click it and unzip all of these images. So there's actually a few backgrounds that I've included that you can use. There's the button image. There's also a bunch of card images. So let's go ahead and go into the asset library and add these things. So I'm going to click inside this folder. Just going to close all of these. Okay. I'm going to highlight all of these folders and just drag it in here. So now we have all of the assets. So backgrounds, we have plain cloth, 2 different types of wood, and then there's a bunch of card images. Okay, and then we've got the logo, and we've got the button as well. So just like we did in the previous lesson where we built the Niagara Falls card, we are going to be building the user interface for this war card game using things like the image view, the text view, H stacks, V stacks, spacers, the Z stack for the green background in the back. And that's pretty much all that's involved in building the UI that you see. So I want to give you this opportunity to build this war card game user interface on your own because you have all of the knowledge you need. And even if you don't quite succeed, you will at least identify all of the gaps in your knowledge. And that's really, really valuable because sometimes as we're learning, we feel like we understand and we're not really applying the knowledge, but we're understanding everything that's being explained. That doesn't really translate to real skills in the sense that you can use them to produce something. And remember, if you get stuck, you can always ask the AI assistant for help. Now, try not to ask the assistant to do the whole thing for you because there will be no learning to be had if you do that. But if you get stuck, you can't get something to look a certain way, ask the AI for some options about what to do. Or if you're experiencing a red error and you're not sure why, again, use the AI chat assistant and ask them why this is not working. Go ahead and download the image assets, start your Xcode project, pause this video, and try it out for yourself. You're going to get so much more out of this lesson if you at least attempt it. Okay, and we're back. How did you do? Don't worry if you didn't get it exactly looking like this, because I would say that any work that you put in at this point is progress and you're making a gain. There's value in it. Here's what I see when I take a look at this. Ignoring the green background for a second, just looking at the elements on the foreground, I see a V stack that contains everything vertically. We've got the logo, and then we've got an H stack containing the two card images. Below that, we have the deal image. And then below that, we have an H stack containing two V stacks. And in each of those V stacks is the player label and player score. And then just like we did with the card demo, we put the whole V stack into a Z stack so that we can put a green background underneath of all of those elements. So these were all elements that we learned in the previous lesson. You can go and review that. If you're just jumping in at this point, it might be a little confusing to you. I'm not going to lie. But let's go ahead with that plan and build it out in Xcode now. All right, so here we have our project and we have all of the image assets added here. We are going to start with the V stack. And I'm going to get rid of these two elements so that we can type it out ourselves. So remember, first we've got the logo, and then we've got an H stack with the two cards. I want to show you something right now that might be useful, and that is comments or documentation. You see how up here in lines 1 to 6, there are these double forward slashes, and then there's some text here, information. This is not code. It's just documentation. And Xcode is going to ignore this stuff when it runs the project. It's more for someone who's reading the code to understand what it is. We can add our own comments. So I can add 2 forward slashes, and then I can put logo here to remind myself about what this is. Then I can put cards. I can put button, put scores. This helps just organize things in my mind and lay things out. So then we can go ahead and actually add those views. So image, we've got, what did we call it? I don't remember. Probably logo, right? So we've got logo, we've got button, we've got card 2 to 14. We've got background cloth. Okay. And try to memorize those things as we go. So we have logo. The canvas is still loading. Perfect. We have our logo. And then we have cards. Remember, there's 2 cards, right? So that's going to be an H stack. And we're going to do image, card, let's say card 3. Doesn't really matter at this point, I suppose. And let's say card 11. Okay. And there's going to be some space in between them, right? So I'm going to use a spacer to push them apart. Like that. Kind of hard to see on the white background, would you not agree? So what we can do is just add that green background right now so it's easier to see. Let's collapse the V stack. And let's go ahead and create our Z stack here. Okay, and then we're going to, instead of using a green color, we're going to use an image for the background. So we're going to do image, and I think it was background dash, how about dash cloth? Let's use that. Notice I'm using these arrows to navigate back and forth. They're kind of like your browser arrows. Helps you jump from file to file quickly. Background dash cloth. Oh, okay. It's got like this burlap texture. I didn't see that. Let's use plain. There we go. And then I'm going to move this V stack, Command X. I'm going to put it in here so it goes on top of everything. Perfect. Okay, so let's continue on with the button. We've got image, button, and then for scores, we have H stack, and it contains 2 V stacks. So there's V stack number 1, and there's V stack number 2. And inside the VStack, there's going to be two text views. So one is going to be the player and the CPU label. And then underneath, we're going to have the score. Wait, well, this is a number, right? And that's basically all the elements that are on the screen. Now we just have to arrange the layout a little bit, add appropriate spacing and things like that to make it look like the way we want it to. So regarding this spacer here, it is expanding to take up as much space as possible, pushing the cards all the way to the left and the right. Now, you may not have chosen to do this. You might have actually remembered that with the stacks, there's a spacing configuration, or you could specify maybe 50, and that would kind of give you that little gap between the cards. You might specify also here spacing 50, which would then space out all the elements. And you know what? That looks pretty good. I would be pretty happy with that. I do want to show you another way though. So let me just remove the spacing. And it has to do with the spacer. So the spacer right now is in between the two cards, expanding to all the space and pushing the cards all the way to the left and the right. What would happen if we added a spacer to the left of the card 3? Like that. Well, it would also compete for space. What if we added a spacer on the right side of the jack? It would also compete for space and expand. So right now there's 3 spacers in that H stack, all competing for space. What ends up happening is that they take up an equal amount of space each. So they divvy up the empty space between all of them. So you could do the same thing with the V stack as well. So for example, if I add a spacer at the top here, it would push everything downwards because it's expanding, right? But if I add a spacer below the logo as well, now there's 2 of them competing for space. What if I add a spacer underneath the H stack of the cards? It will also demand space. What if I add a spacer below the button? It will also demand space. And then what if I put a spacer below the scores? It will also demand space. The nice thing about using spacers for spacing things out like this is that it's dynamic. You're not specifically saying 50 points or 20 points. And this keeps things dynamic for different screen sizes. For an iPad, for let's say landscape orientation, for an iPad mini, for an iPhone Pro Max versus just a regular iPhone, the spacers will just divvy up all the available space and keep things nice and equal. Let's also add spacers in between these labels here. So we're going to add a spacer in between here. We're going to add a spacer to the left of the player stack, and then add another spacer to the right of the CPU stack, thereby putting it into the middle. Now that everything's looking nice and spaced out, the last thing to deal with is customizing the font sizes and the colors. So first of all, let's make all of the text white by adding a modifier to this H stack, which would then apply to all of the views inside of it. So I'm going to hit dot, foreground style, dot white, changes it all to white. I'm also going to apply a font sizing to the score. We're going to say font dot headline, enter. That makes the score bigger. We're going to say font open bracket dot large title. That's going to make that score bigger. I'm going to do the same thing with the other number, large title. And then we are going to apply a modifier to the player label. We're going to say font. And for this one, we're going to say headline. So I'm also going to apply the same modifier to CPU label. And then I want to add a bit of space in between the text elements. Now you can do spacing on the VStack like I showed you before, like that. Or I'm going to show you a different way. I mentioned before that you can add padding to a specific edge. So that's what I want to do. For this player label, I want to add padding at the bottom. So let's add an additional padding, but when you open up the brackets, you hit dot bottom. So you can see by default, it adds 20 padding to the bottom. If you want to change that number, you can say comma 10. It's going to be a little less. Maybe you only want 5 or something like that, even less. So we'll stick with the default, which is 20. You do the same thing with the CPU label here, padding dot bottom. All right, that's our work hard game user interface. So in this lesson, I hope the takeaway is that despite having a small collection of SwiftUI views at your disposal, you can still build some pretty complicated things just by arranging them in different ways. Now that the user interface is done for this app, we need to start thinking about adding the app logic. And to do that, we need to learn some Swift code. So this is a perfect segue into the next few lessons where we're going to explore Swift together. Again, if you want to download this Xcode project that you've seen in this video, there's a link in the description below. It's going to lead you to an email sign-up landing page where you can enter in your email. You can get a link to download the project. But in addition to that, you'll be signed up to our weekly newsletter where we're going to give you tips and exclusive tutorials only for email subscribers. All right, you're doing amazing so far. Let's tackle that last piece of our learning journey. I'll see you in the next lesson.